Ladies and gentlemen, it is Juneteenth, 2025. Somebody better recognize because we out here doing what we got to do. And I'm pleased to have my co-host with me today. We doing the thing. Greg, how you living, man?
I'm doing good, man. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be
Come, well,
here,
see,
and I'm
hold on. Thank you
excited.
for having me. Hold on. No, again, you family, brother. You got keys to the front door. This is our deal. You act like you, you know what a
Man,
refrigerator
listen,
is.
I'm used to doing a show, and when I bring on guests, so I'm trying to
Yeah,
be
no,
polite,
no,
but
you no longer just a guest, brother. You
okay,
co-host. There's no I in this team. Is all week, that kind of thing. But I'm sorry. I'm just interrupting you. I'm acting out because it's our day today. So I
that's
apologize.
right, that's right. It's a blessing. It's a
Yeah.
blessing.
Well, listen, man. Let's keep this moving because wanted to keep having this discussion and kind of wrap up this series on AI as it relates to entrepreneurs, as it relates to creators, as it relates to business folks out here doing the thing. And this next subject matter and topic matter. So, folks, if you're in the audience, you get a question, put a Q in front of it. You know the whole deal, kind of thing. But we're going to walk through and just have the discussion of, where does AI, not just generative AI, but agentic AI as well. But just where does the whole artificial intelligence and using LLMs fit into your workflow, right? As a creator, as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, all of those things, just as a person in 2025, how are you leveraging AI? So, uh, that's a 35,000 foot statement. I know I see folks chiming in. Appreciate y'all for being here. But Greg, let's start there. Right. Let's start at that 35,000 foot level. And I know you have a lot of history, a lot of experience on all of the platforms. We're gonna share some screens too, but just that question right there, just from your perspective, and how and where does AI fit into your overall workflow?
Well, I think because I started early, like a lot of times people will think about AI, and just in the last uh, year and a half, 2 years when OpenAI came out. But the reality is that we've been using AI kind of before that, and you just wasn't really recognizing that it was technically AI.
Hmm.
One of the most popular ones was Jasper, uh, or before it was Jasper, it was not Jasper. Yeah, Jasper. Are you familiar with Jasper? The copywriting
Yeah, man. You
program
see,
was
you don't
called
need to be
Jasper.
flashing back, going back too far. You dating yourself. You're not dating me, but even though I remember that. But go ahead. Okay? Go
Yeah,
ahead.
man. And so before Jasper, they had to change their name because they were their first name was Conversion AI.
I didn't
And
know that.
I think
Okay.
that was their best name. Their best name
Okay.
was Conversion AI, and they would allow you to, it would write stuff for you. You could give it an idea, and it would write stuff for you. It would really be good. It would respond. It would reply to email. It would, give you an answer to an email if you put the email in there. It was really, really good. And it was really, really good for writing copy. And then they got smart and tried to call themselves Jarvis,
Yeah, that
and
didn't work.
and while they were small, nobody cared. But as they grew, Marvel said, "Hey, you can't do that. Now you have to cut that in the bud." So then they
Or
renamed
you gonna write us a
themselves.
check, or
Yeah, yeah,
so yeah.
and they couldn't handle that check. Then they renamed themselves to Jasper, and it's like, well, nobody knows who Jasper is. Y'all should have just kept Conversion AI. Long story short, man, I think for me, it's just been a part of things that we've been doing for a longer time than just what's recently popular.
Yeah.
And for me, it was about how can I use this technology to grow my business. And there's a lot of things you can do that are fun and entertaining, but may not necessarily be to grow your business, right?
Mm.
So, for example, I personally don't do a lot of graphic AI. Like I don't have it create a whole lot of graphics for me personally. And I've seen people have a lot of fun with creating cartoons of
Right.
themselves
Right.
and toys and boxes and all sorts of stuff, which is fun. It's cool. It's entertaining. Um, but for me personally, I focused on how can this be used to make myself and my business profitable. That's the thing that I really focused in on. And so that's how I look at using AI. And I typically try not to use it in ways for things that I really don't understand. Like I'm using it to help me be better, not do something I can't do that I don't understand. And the reason is, and we talked about this, we touched on it, is because if AI does something that is wrong and you don't know it because you don't have experience, then you can sound embarrassing or look embarrassed or
Yeah.
be wrong if you don't have it.
I think that's very interesting what you said right there too, because just going back to you don't use or leverage AI for some of those more entertainment aspects. One, I think also because your LLM will start learning you. And if you start filling it with that type of those types of prompts, that type of information, it'll start personalizing itself around thinking that that's Greg, right? When only you're only just trying to, I don't know, ride a trend, or you're trying to do something just on the fly kind of thing. I think that's very interesting as well, that you don't go down those avenues and train your claws, or train your chat GBTs, or train your whatever the case may be to do those things. You're locked in, you're focused on doing what it takes for me to get from point A to point C to help my business so I can finally get to point Z. That didn't
And
make sense. I don't know what I'm talking
no,
about,
no,
but
no.
y'all pray
I
for me
think
today.
I think because you have to be locked in to
Yeah.
your strategy. And if your strategy requires you to, like, if you need to get lots of engagement on Facebook and creating images or any social media platform, and that helps you, then you need to do it. But so you have to be locked in on that. And for me, that wasn't really my strategy. That wasn't a part of it. And I didn't want to be doing it just because everyone else was doing it or just because it looked fun or cool. You got to stay locked into your strategy because there's so many distractions as an entrepreneur. That is like, the distraction is like your drug, man. If you're an entrepreneur and your mind starts, oh, we can do this and we can do that. I talked about
Yeah.
and last time too.
Right, right.
You got to be locked in. And so if it's not part of the strategy, you gotta just say no. Like blinders, man. You got to put them blinders
I
on.
heard that. Hold on, man. Let me get to some of these comments here, but I got a statement that I wanted to say, but I know I see Mr. Stone and Mr. Fuse in the background, and they probably, let me say that part first. You said about the drug, if you keep doing it. And see, I don't know if you've heard it before. I've got this unfortunate analogy that I typically use when I talk about like doing live streams or doing webinars or doing sessions, and we just give people just a little bit, kind of the drug dealer thing. So I'm the crack dealer, and then I know you're gonna come back and you're gonna want some more. You want some premium content, so that's where we charge you a little bit more. So I got to come up with a different analogy. I know, but then you said drug dealer, so
Oh
maybe
my
I'll edit
goodness.
this whole thing out. Whatever the case may be. Sean was saying he remembers Jasper and Jounce. Man, see, golly, y'all some OGs in this building. Erica says phrase FRASC. I'm not familiar with that.
Yeah, that's a good one too.
Okay. All right, man. So let's do that. See my little side squirrel moment there, talking about drug dealers and crackheads and stuff like that. I don't know what kind of show this is, y'all. Again, if you got questions, put them in the comments there. Let's walk through some prompts. Let's walk through some use cases, and let me ask you this as well. Is there an LLM of choice that you use? We know the popular ones. We know the Kleenex and the tissue. You know that being ChatGPT. A lot of folks they think of AI and they automatically think of the OpenAI offering of ChatGPT, but there's so many others out there. Is there one or a couple in particular that you feel better serve you and your business activities?
So I'm going to answer this question as a teacher, right? So it's like you have to find the tool that works best for you. What
Mm,
works best for me may not work best for you. You got to find the one that you can rock with, right? Well, it's like, um, it's like a car, right? It's like just because someone else says it's really good, when you get in there and drive it, if you don't feel comfortable, whatever, it's not for you. You got to find the ones for you. So I will tell you the ones that I use, and I use a lot. Um, but you got to find the ones for you. So some of the top two that I use is OpenAI, ChatGPT, and Claude. Those are the two chat bots that I work with the
hmm
most. ChatGPT, I have a lot of history back and forth with it, and it knows certain things about my show. It knows certain things about me, and that so I can get in there and talk, and I don't have to prompt it every single time. It knows something really cool too. just FYI, when it comes to Chat GPT or one of them, I asked it, hey, what do you want me to call you? And so I was able to give it a name. It was like give it a name because I talk to it like it's a person, like it's
Yeah.
right here, like it's an assistant. I'd like,
Right.
I just talk to it. So I asked it, what do you want me to call you? And it gave me some options, and I really thought about it. And so my Chat GPT has a name, and it's a her, and her name is Grace. So I'm going to try not to be like, yeah, when I talk to Grace, so if somebody comes late, they're
Shouts out
confused.
to Grace, brother. I ain't mad at you. Shouts out to a friend of mine. Again, here's a squirrel morning again. A friend of mine, Corey Sanders. He uses Gemini, and he has a voice, and the voice on it reminds me of my cousin. So I'm calling his agent Wanda. Shout out to my cousin Wanda. Okay, and there we go again. Dom is talking about Grok. Grok is the truth too. Me and Elon kind of fell off, but listen, I got Grok in the toolkit as well. Okay, but let's keep going,
Yeah.
brother. Yeah.
So anyway, long story short, find the one that works for you. I like Chat GPT. That's the one I kind of been playing with the longest, and I also like Claude. Those are the two straightforward, LMMs that I use. I use some other tools too that will combine the different ones.
I was going to
One that
ask
I
you
use
about
is
that.
called Poppy AI, which is allows you to bring in a whole lot of different things inside of folders and then run a chat from the folder, right? So Poppy AI is another one that I use.
So let me ask you about Poppy, because Poppy AI, when it first came out, they wanted a lot of money, right? Again, and I say this a lot of times: you get what you pay for. But I think it eventually came onto a LTD or something of that nature. But wasn't Poppy like $100 a month or something like that?
Not that I remember. They only, from what I haven't, once I get it, I'm using it. It's,
We're gonna
I'm not
find.
worried
We
about the
listen,
sales after
listen.
that.
We're gonna put this on the screen. We're gonna find out right now. But go ahead.
So when I got it, it was a yearly thing. And if you added up Chat GPT and Claude, it would be
Yeah.
less than both of those for the year.
Okay.
So I think it was like $300 for the year or something around that.
Yeah, man. Right. See, right
And I
now,
think, yeah,
or you
yeah,
get the
it's three
lifetime
ninety
for
nine a year.
1,300. There you go. Okay.
Yeah, or you could grab it lifetime for 1,300. My thoughts about that is, listen, this AI technology, you don't know where it's going to be in a year, right? It's traveling so fast. Unless, again, if you really like the tool and you're really going to use it and it's a main thing for your business, then ball out and get it for lifetime. But I was like, I don't know how, I don't know where technology will be as it's traveling so fast in a year. So I'm just going to rock it for a year. So I grabbed it for maybe it was 325 when I got it. It was a little bit less than it is now. Uh, but I got Poppy AI, and it
Okay.
allows you to do some things in there, um, some pretty cool things because you can group things and it can absorb so much information, um, especially for those who are creating videos. It's a really good one if you're using videos and you want to help it create content for your videos. The reason why Poppy is so popular is because there's so many prompts that they give you in the templates, right? So it's like you don't have to think of how to create this stuff. They just give you a template, you can copy it, then you can throw in your content, hit the button, and it's spitting out content for you.
Okay. Okay. Folks are talking about, let's see, Erica's talking about Notebook LM. Definitely dope. Love that as well. Is that Deep Seek? Is that the one?
Deep Seek. Yep.
Okay. So Deep
Yes, sir.
Seek. I don't know if that's the one she's talking about, but Mistral. Sean says he calls ChatGPT Sigil. A sigil is a symbol created to represent a specific intention, desire, or identity. Man, that's okay, brother. Yeah, I'm over here making jokes, and he getting intentional with his work. I love it. It's ancient, practiced by mystics. Okay, that's dope stuff right there. Now, let me ask this: when you use any of these platforms, and then we'll eventually get into some of these prompts as well, but because you mentioned about video, are you creating video assets? I know you said you're not necessarily making photos or anything of that nature, but are you creating video assets? Are you creating thumbnails? Are you ideating around topics for discussion? Because I know you have your show that you do, I believe, on Tuesdays as well. Are you using that to come up with trending topics? What's your use case when you use either those individual ones or something like a Poppy AI?
Okay. So I'll tell you how I use ChatGPT with my show.
Hmm.
So early on, I had a conversation to chat and I told ChatGPT about my show, right? I was like, hey, I do a show. This is what we talk about. This is the, and I gave it a full description. This is what we cover. This is sometimes we do this, sometimes we do like I just told it all the stuff. And then how I typically use it is I'll come up with an idea, a topic that we're going to talk about. And then I will go, now I can just go into my chat GPT and I can say, hey, um, this week on Technology Tuesday, we're going to talk about this. Help me create a title, right? And it'll come up and it'll give me different titles in different categories, and then I'll choose one from there, right? So it's like if I'm coming up with the idea, then I can just let the AI come up, give me a list to choose from that I find is really really good. Then once I have the title, I can be like, okay, now give me a description. Now my AI knows that if I'm talking about a tool, let's say we're going to talk about Poppy AI on the show, it knows that I don't want Poppy AI in the description in the title or the description, because the way our show is, we want people to show up to find out what tool we're talking about. It's kind of like
Gotcha.
we're
Yeah.
always revealing tools that we're
Yes.
using that we get it we get them early, things that we find early, so it knows not to put that in there, so it'll give me a description, and a description that's enticing people to come, that will talk about what the tool does but not reveal the name, so that we can get people to the show. So my AI
Hmm.
uh knows that already because of the conversation we had before. And I will find one for you to show.
Okay. And reason I asked you about that, and I think Chris actually put in a statement that references kind of where I was going. The fact that yeah, you feed your LLM with your prompt, but you don't just take what comes out of it, right? You're not just using the template that comes out of a Claude or comes out of a Chat GPT. Because like Chris is saying, see that template thing makes me think, is everyone doing that? If they are, then he's going the other direction. Because you got to be unique, you got to be original, as opposed to just getting the output that's coming out of a notebook LM, out of a Grok, out of a my man over here, Don, says talking about Meta. Me and Mark Zuckerberg don't get along, man. So I can't I can't use any Meta tools. I'm sorry. I love them. Only reason we stream it on Facebook right now is because of my mom. So, but me and the Meta tools don't get along. And but Microsoft Copilot, because again, I'm just looking at some of the comments coming in from Don. Copilot is dope. So what they're trying to do over on the Microsoft side, but man, me look back at some of my old shows about the statements that I've said about Zuckerberg, and I say them out loud. Okay, okay,
Listen, I'm having a love hate relationship with them too, because I was telling you before when we were in the pre-show,
yeah,
we were talking about I was in all of these different groups and
right.
they done made all these changes, and it's like you done killed my reach by what you was doing. So anywho, um,
And
yeah,
here I am
I
still paying for a little while for verified, so I can tweak my IG though. It's not a Facebook thing, you know. I'm trying to rationalize my expense. Oh,
yeah,
y'all
I'm
again keep
verified
praying
too,
for me.
man, because I don't want people taking my profile, and because I've had that happen twice.
Yes.
It's like that's not me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Cool,
Chris says I am meta
cool.
averse. All right, but let go. What you got? You got something you want to pull up on screen?
Yes, I will show you exactly my
What you got, man?
question.
What you got?
So basically, here this is. Can you help me come up with a title for today's Technology Tuesday show? We will discuss a scam I found on the internet offering portable laptop monitors. We will also discuss under the radar prospecting tool, right? And now remember, it knows how I want this stuff. So it's like, absolutely, here are some titles, right? And so they give me some scam alert tool teaser titles. It gave me some curiosity and value driven style ones. Now watch this. It gave me direct response one, Dan Kennedy, Kim Walsh Phillips tone. Now, how does it know that I want Dan Kennedy direct
Yeah,
response? Like it knows what I want.
it's
Okay.
learned you. Yes.
It learns me, right? And then it says, I'm like, great. Uh, Here's the title I want to use. Can you give me an enticing description for the episode? And it goes ahead and gives me the episode. So before the show, I have the title and the brief description that I can do, and I can put it out there. And so now, when I go do the show, after we have the show, then I can take the actual show and I can throw it into another AI, and I can have it create a blog post and pull out all the stuff.
Yeah.
Um, Two tools that I recommend for that. One we talked about previously was Video to Page, which is a under the radar one. And then also Cast Magic, which is a more popular one that allows you
Yeah.
to do a whole lot of stuff with your video content or podcast content.
Yeah, we're fans of Cast Magic around here. Shouts out to them as well because they've been on some sessions with us, Ecam and things of that. I always, I'm sure they're doing okay, but an eyebrow raises when I see a platform either, and I'm not. Hopefully, I'm not talking out of term. I'm sure they're doing great, but platform is doing well from third person remove. Then they go back to offering like a LTD offering or something, right? Why do you got to go back to the well? Yeah, yeah. I know you're iterating, you're growing, you're looking at the next stage of growth or whatever the case may be. But we've been burned a couple of times by a couple of companies that keep going back to them LTD waters, and next thing you know, that they're gone. So karma, hopefully, listen, I'm trying to, hopefully I'm talking positively about this because I own it. So hopefully Cast Magic continues to thrive and continues to evolve. It's a fantastic platform. So uh,
Yes, I had got it about 2 years ago
okay,
when they were introduced to me at Podfest,
okay,
and
yeah,
they had a special price at that time, and I had it for a while, and this is the earlier version, and I paid for it for a couple months, and then I got an LTD that did very similar to what it did at the time, and so then I was just rocking with that one, and I was able to remove that expense for a while, and they have continually to improve the product, right? And so recently, when they have been on the LTD, I went and grabbed it because it does a way lot more than it did when it first came out 2 years ago. Like in the 2 years, it is drastically improved. Now I don't know how many times they've been there. I believe this is their first time, but I'm not sure. And I too have been burned by some programs
we won't
from.
name them by name. We won't name them by sessions.
I
I mean,
will.
oh, sessions. We won't name too many of them by name, but let's see that. So they're sold out now. So okay, but dope, dope. All right,
And
yeah,
they have a pretty. I would believe they would have a pretty good solid base prior to the LTD. My
yeah,
only thing that I think about is like if you have people paying you monthly before and then you come out with it because you're not a brand new startup type company, you know what I mean? How do you do those people who don't know keep paying for it monthly? Or if they do see it, do they cancel their thing and come sign up under another email address? I'm just like,
yeah. I would be hot, right? If I was paying maybe again $100 a month or whatever for this multi-layered tool that does everything or a lot that I needed to do, and then come to find out I could save up 2 months worth of that subscription and buy it for life. There'd be some furniture moving. If I tell you what, there would be some furniture moving.
that's my thing. Like, yeah, I don't, you know, yeah. And it's funny because again, I usually find things early, and there's this other company, and this is not AI related. This is other company that had a product that I had jumped in when it first launched, and I was saying, man, I wish you guys had an LTD, and I was like, no, we don't have that.
Yeah,
And then like a year later, I find them on the LTD site, and I was like, you know what? We're gonna
gonna jump on it,
cancel this
mess
here.
around and
Go
jump
get
on
it.
it.
Go get it over
All
here.
right, let's do
Uh,
this though, man. Apparently I made an assumption, and I hate doing that because actually my guest yesterday told me about making assumptions. That episode, y'all, will come out next month. I recorded it, and Sean doesn't know who you are. So let's go ahead and do that elevator pitch, man. Tell the people who in the world Greg Russell is, man. I'll apologize for that because again, we family. This is what this is. But as we continue to grow and evolve, I'm loving the fact that other folks are coming in. So if you don't mind, brother.
Oh, no, not at all. Thank you. So, I'm Greg Russell. I'm the founder of Success Team Marketing Group, which is a digital marketing company that I started in 2001. I am the proud father of my daughter Sydney, And this digital journey started for me many years ago. I built my first website in 1996, and I started helping other people in 2001. And I've been full time in my business since 2003. And I love helping people learn to use the internet to become profitable in their business. I'm affectionately known as the Tech Jedi, and that's who I am, and that's what I'm about.
The fact that you don't have any merch that says that yet, that's a problem though. The fact that you don't have your own hoodies or something that says that, and when you walk down the street that we don't see that. Come on, man. Let's put that into motion. Thank you for that, though.
I,
Appreciate you for
I,
breaking
I
it
got
down.
I got my Technology Tuesday shirt, which I wore last time,
Yes.
uh, which which is the show. But yeah, man, Tech Jedi for life. Love it.
I love, I love. All right, so folks can keep bringing the questions if you got them. Again, we're talking about leveraging AI as a creator, as an entrepreneur, as a business person, and how and where it fits in your workflow. Interesting to hear that again, Greg. You're not using it for, and I'm going to say memes, which is good. You're not using it for trends. You're not riding the wave of what's going on. You didn't make the toy. Well, so let me ask this, and then I'll kind of go into my usage by not riding some of those waves of trends. Do you sell yourself short by not learning how to write a prompt to do that thing? Do you miss out on kind of some of these latest trends of this is how you create this particular graphic, these changing photos into videos, making yourself into a toy, right? Do you miss out on that latest iteration of prompt engineering coding because you don't do that? You're only locked in and you're only focused. You're only doing what's necessary for your business. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does, and yes, I do, and
Okay.
I'm okay with that,
Okay.
um, because I'm locked in on learning the type of prompting I need to elevate my business, right? And so the thing is, as entrepreneurs too, like if you've been an entrepreneur for a long time and you look at the landscape of entrepreneurship, a lot of times, Michael Gerber wrote that book, The E Myth, and he talked about creating your own job, right? And there's so many things we can do. And do you bring a employee mindset to your business, right? Because the employee mindset thinks, if you ask an employee how you're going to get a promotion, they will typically say we will work harder, stay longer, come early, right? Their concept is do more. And so if you as an entrepreneur think like how can you grow your business, doing more is not necessarily always the right
Mm,
thing, right? A lot of times you need to do less. You need to, do less to make more. And so everything that comes out and everything that is a fad or is cool may not be the thing that can help you if that's not your specific goal, if that's not your specific strategy. Like you got to be locked into the strategy on what you want to do. Now, if making those things helps you and it's a part of what you need, then by all means. But if not, it's okay to enjoy seeing other people doing it. But I didn't need to spend the time for that particular stuff at that particular time. Also, you can learn to lean on people. There's so many people who were doing it. If I really needed that, I could just ask
yeah.
my group who's done this and who can just give me the prompt, and there, there you go.
Yeah, I mean, and I rock with that because again, instead of trying to boil the ocean, and instead of trying to do all the things, and instead of trying to please everyone when you're not going to please hardly anybody, you're staying true to yourself. You're being more effective, like Mr. Stone is saying, because you're getting 201, 301, 401. You're getting really specialized in what it is that you do and what you provide to your network and to your community, as opposed to trying to be the generalist. I don't know if there's real longevity, to be honest with you, and this is just personal things. So this is y'all don't flog me or anything like that. I think when you get really good at something and you get really good at an offering, a product or a service, that's really where you start bringing the value. If I was to try to say that I know Ecamm, StreamYard, Restream, Melon, all these platforms, how am I really going to be a trusted advisor? How am I really going to be kind of an evangelist or an advocate if I can't help you dive deeper into those platforms? If I just know what they show on their website, and that's just the example that I'm using, just because that's the first one that comes off the top of my head. So I applaud that, the fact that you stay in your lane. You're not trying to boil the ocean. You're doing what it is that you do, and you're bringing that value. And again, that's that premium service. That's my crack dealer thing right there. You
Yeah,
okay?
man.
Okay.
Yeah. So I spent my time trying to learn how to use AI to bring the best out of me, right? I
Hmm.
know it can go find information that I don't know, but how can it get information out of me that can make me a better entrepreneur, that can make me a better salesperson, that can make me a better copywriter with the
Yeah.
things that I have within me? So I worked on creating documents, like I talked about before about how I talked about my show, so it knows how I want certain things. I created a document around my program so that when it can create almost anything I need from that program, like you have to create these foundational pieces so that ChatGPT can work with you. I also ask it to ask me questions like, hey, this is what I'm trying to do. Ask me questions so you can do it, right? Ask me questions one at a time. Like if you get specific, ask me questions one at a time, so that you can, and ask me as many questions as you need so that you can complete the task, right? And then it starts pulling stuff out of me. Okay, if it has my document, it knows my business, it knows what I'm talking about, it knows where I'm trying to go. Now it's asking me questions and it's using all of that to pull stuff out of
Yeah.
me. So I can be like, hey, ask me this question on how to, convert this type of person or whatever I need. And then it will. And then now you have stuff that it pulled out of you instead of, and I'll tell you something else. Another way, since this is about how we use it,
Yeah.
you know how, you know how
Oh Lord, I thought he was checking to make sure no one was coming in. You about to give out some secrets. Okay, what you got?
you know how you can read a book and get all this information, has examples in there and everything. This is just one of the many um, books. But if you have the PDF of that book, you can upload it in there, and now you can use that information from the
Yeah.
entire book or even a section of the book within ChatGPT. Now, or any of the MLMs. I don't recommend you using those PDFs if you haven't purchased the book. So that's just me, but you do what you got to do.
Greg with the quick
Uh,
disclaimer right there, right? Don't
disclaimer,
don't
like,
don't
what I'm
just
saying?
get
Like, if you
your
ain't,
don't get a copy off of Napster and then try to use
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Okay. Y'all
So
youngsters don't
once
know about
you once
Napster.
you upload it, then you can be like, for example, in that particular case, give me a DM message in the style that was referenced in the book, and it can give it to you. So, and there's some PDFs back in the day from some old marketing books, or that's really really good, really really powerful, and you have all of that knowledge. Like, stop thinking of ChatGPT as some robot and thinking of it as whoever you need it to be
Mm.
to pull out that stuff, and then go give it the information from that person. You need it to be Michael Gerber, go upload the PDF. You need it to be Alex Hermosi, go upload the books, right? You need it to be Dan Kennedy, whatever, go upload the stuff. And then you need to be Russell, go give him the stuff. And then ask him or ask the chat GPT based on the information, how do I do this? How do I do that? And now you're getting information not from whatever chat GPT or AI grabs from internet, wherever. It's grabbing it specifically from the most powerful information because you gave it to it. And you don't have to, I mean, because I have plenty of books that I've read, but I'm not going to remember it to the specifics that AI can, because AI can read a 1,000-page book in a few seconds,
Right.
and it can pull it right out.
Let that marinate a little bit because folks, that there's some knowledge right there, and I see folks chiming in. I see the great comments coming in. John, I see you too. Yeah, Chris, yeah, I said Napster. Leave me alone, brother. Um, people who will pay for the extra 10%. That's what we come in. That's where we come in. Yeah, the fact that John says he hated ChatGPT until he had to review web pages and then learn who he was and some value from that perspective. So again, getting much deeper into the understanding, personalizing, on the back end, these LLMs, because now most of them you can actually personalize them and give them your persona. And then again, they're learning as you continue to leverage them. Those are the kinds of things that's that next 10%, right? And yeah, pay your little $20 a month for the plus, the pro, the premium version of these platforms, but then get in there and start feeding it quality information because it's learning from the garbage in, garbage out kind of thing, right? It's learning from
Yeah.
that perspective.
Yeah.
You brought up a book, and I wanted to just bring up another book too as well. And I know folks got this as well: How to Write Copy That Sells, because you talked about being a copywriter. If you don't have this
Hey,
book
Edwards.
in your library, something wrong with you. I, I'm not gonna get up and go get it because it's way on the other side of the room. But folks, How to Write Copy That Sells, and the links to the Hermosi book and to this Edwards book will be in the description, so you guys can get them later. But these are two books from a business mindset perspective, how to deal with people, how to engage with people from a written perspective, and can also be leveraged in AI. Right? These are a
Yeah.
couple of the books that need to be on the bookshelf. Okay,
Man,
there
now
we
you
go.
got me looking across the room with
I
some
know I
books.
saw
I'm
you
like,
looking. You looking for some books, right? I know. I'm not mad at you, brother. But
you got Ray Edwards, some we talking about old school copywriters, Ted Nicholas.
look at you, boy. No, you don't know nothing
Yeah,
about some of
man.
these people. Okay, why did you put this on my phone? Hey, why didn't you two put this on your For You page? Because this is the truth right here. Someone who exists. We talking about the things that matter. You must be someone who is leveraging AI in your personal, professional, or business life. And today's conversation on the Technologist Forum is all about that. So appreciate you for being here. Like, subscribe, tell a friend. So hopefully this is valuable for you. And thank you for even chiming in with that comment right there. Uh, Erica says, Notebook LM is great for quoting PDFs, books, and transcripts. I think, they're all pretty good at that. And not to belittle the statement, because I think it's a fantastic statement that she said. But again, just as opposed to just telling it that you are looking for something or to help you solve a query, the fact that we now have that kind of that next level of engagement with these models, I think not enough people are leveraging that. And
Yeah.
that's kind of
So
really the conversation I wanted to have with you. And again, how you're doing, because you've built successful brands, you've built successful businesses, you've got uh, clients that are at various stages, and now you've got this intelligent assistant. You've got your Claudes, your GBTs, you got your whatever the case may be. And are you working yourself out of a job by having AI do a lot of things, or are you finding different opportunities? It's kind of a softball question. Or are you
no,
finding other opportunities with new and existing clients?
I believe to some extent, yes,
Mm,
because um, it's like information, right? If you have this information out there, for example, we talked about uploading a book, right? And then pulling from that book. Well, after so much time, it's not going to need you to upload the book and to pull information. It'll have it. So to some extent, yes. However, at the same time, at the same time, AI doesn't have experience, right? AI does not have the experience to be able to use what it can give you in the way that you can.
mm,
Also, if we're not using the AI, we won't use our own brain to come up with different ways of how we can be profitable and productive with it, right? So, I think back when the farming equipment back when the technology game and the tractors and stuff first came out, and everybody's like, oh, we're going to be out in the jobs because we're not going to have to go out in the field and do it manually because now this machine will do it,
yeah.
right? And it's like, okay, true, but what are you going to do? Are you just going to sit around and complain and watch it happen, or are you going to figure out something? Like, there's things evolve, things change. And the same thing with the cars, right? When the assembly line came, and then everybody's like, oh, it's going to take all these jobs. Yeah, well, you got to get better skills and figure out how you can, where you
Tell
fit
it.
in. You got to work it, right? So it's here now, and it's learning at a fast pace. What are you going to do? You want to sit on the sidelines and complain? Nah, I can figure out how I can use this right now to help me right now, and work ways where I understand that maybe what I'm doing right now, maybe it will be able to do it. AI will be able to do it without me in the future. Okay, that's in the back of my mind. But as I'm using it right now, I'm still have that in the back of my mind. How can I better myself knowing that it's here? And so again, for me, instead of thinking of it as a robot and thinking of it as who can I get information from now, because I can pull information from any mentor, anyone who's written a book, right? How can I get that and then use it right now, right? Because the
Mm,
thing is, you can use this, you can use it right now. How can I take that knowledge combined with my experience and put dollars in my pocket?
see, there you go. Shh, let that marinate. Louder for the people in the back, like Stone was saying. Dom, appreciate you for being. Listen, that's what's up, man. That's tell somebody, tell your partners to come through. Let me do this too, because I want to be cognizant of questions that are coming in, because that's really what we're doing. We're not just doing this to pump our chest or anything. We here want to serve and bring value to the community. Chris was saying, so are you saying that you are adding your influences in order to generate content? So as you were building out your LLMs, as you were building out your prompts, are you adding your influences in order to generate that content?
Yes. So I'll give you a perfect example. I was working on a DM strategy, and I put in, I put in what I would put in, and I'd ask it to approve it. Hey, this is the DM I think, the DM I think I want to send. How can you improve it? And it would give me what it thought was a better improvement. And I was thinking, maybe, maybe not. Then I was like, you know what? Let me give it this book, because I know this book had examples of it in there. And I said, use this as a reference of the examples in the book and rewrite my stuff in that style, in that tone, in that thing. And it was like 10 times better than what it originally gave me, right? So it was my first original idea of, hey, this is what I would write, make it better. That was step number one. They made it better, but I just still didn't like it. Then I was like, here's the experts and their examples. Now use those as examples with what I did and come up. And so then it came back with something that was really, really good, because it started from me. It was in a framework that was what the examples in the book said. And I could also tweak it if you know what I'm saying. So it wasn't just like, give me the stuff, because typically examples in books and stuff aren't based on your business model or your client or your avatar,
Right.
right? So if you don't have those things, again, and I guess we can use some time to show some people how we can get those things, so that I can give you stuff based on your business and who you're going after. And so I
Well, listen. Well,
wasn't
let's
doing
do
it
that.
to.
Roll up your sleeves, brother. Today's session, as you guys are probably can tell, I wanted Greg to shine, because I could tell that he had last couple weeks, 2 weeks ago, whenever it was. I could tell he had some additional uh, gems that he wanted to drop, and we ran out of time. We kept going, but it was on my heart, and I said, brother, hey, let's come back and do this, because I just had a feeling that there were some additional gems. So you're the focus today. I'll chime
I
in
appreciate
and
that.
do all my stuff behind the scenes, the Wizard of Oz behind the scenes. But other than that, yeah, let's bring that up, and then we'll get to this other question in a second. We see man about. I saw a question from Dom. What when it comes to image generation, what is your favorite AI? We'll get into that right there. But go ahead. You wanted to share a screen too, man?
Yeah, we can go ahead and do that. So I will show you. So basically, what we do is we create documents so that we can have the AI talk and give us information based on our companies and stuff. So I'm going to show
Okay.
you a document. Um, Now this may be kind of small. Maybe I'll do this one, give you a little better. All right, cool. So I have a program called the Seven Figure Path, and it's a consulting program. And I've used AI to help me create all sorts of things for it and everything. But to start off, I needed to give AI what it was and all the things. So I created a document where I would talk about, it's a program, who's it going after. I got business ideas. I got, headlines about what it is. I got a unique selling proposition. I got a vision statement, mission statement, right? I got catchy slogans, taglines, everything, like all this stuff. And so it's like, once you have a business outline, you can then put that in a document and then upload it to your AI and then say, hey, this reference this in this response. Okay. And I'll show you what that looks like. And so this is Claude, and you can do this in ChatGPT too, but this is Claude, and this is the paid version where you can create projects. And in this project, I uploaded this, what's called the roadmap. So this is basically most everything that you guys just saw. It had the whole idea, the business outline, everything there. I had uh, someone who writes emails that I like in this style. And then I had a tone of voice, so I like the different emails in the tone that I like. And so once I have this, I can go ask it for almost anything, and it will give me content based on my business idea in the style that I write, in
Mm,
the tone that I want. Right. And so now when I ask for a prompt, I'll show you here. Like, can you help me pull out some email ideas for a from the transcript, right? So I can take any transcript. We're gonna come back to that in 1 second. I'm about to paste in, this is the pasted in transcript, following the email writer style from the tone of voice PDF that we had, the emails writer style, and please start with ideas, right? So then it comes up and it gives me these ideas, right? The $2,000 training I'm giving away for free, why your AI content sounds like a robot and how to fix it, right? These are all ideas and some bullet points around it. It hasn't written the emails yet, but I'm going, yeah, this is based
hmm
on what I just put in. I can create content ideas, right? And so now, then I can be like, good, take number one and write the email and go from there. But this is all because um, I have the, sorry about that, got to go into projects. I have the documents already created. So it knows how to write the type of emails that I want because it has an examples. It knows the content because I pasted it up there. It knows the tone because I have an example. Once you have all of these things, then you can have the AI work the way you want. And so you can do that. And I will share with you, if you allow it, um, a a custom GPT that I created that will help you create your business document. It's called the Business Overview Generator. And basically, all you have to do is hit Let's Get Started. And if you have anything written about your business already, you can just upload it. If
mm.
not, you hit it and it will start asking you the questions, right? All you got to do is hit the button, Let's Get Started. And then it's going to start asking you the questions. And it's going to ask you between 10 and 15 questions. And then it'll spit out a document for you with your business document that you can use in these AI programs. So I will share this with you, and you can share it with everybody who wants
Man, listen, you mess around, share with me. I'm gonna put a 10% hike on the. Okay, giving out all these gems here. That's real dope right there. That's real dope right there. Dr. Stone, I'm making you a moderator, sir. So just a little sidebar right there, so you can help out with some things. So just so you know, right there. Appreciate you, man. Cool. All right.
it.
Let me think about this. I got some other questions I want to ask about this because thanks for joining the family, Dom. Pleasure to have you, brother. What's an output for this for an end customer or a client? Right? Are you generating what do you in turn give to someone who's coming to you? Right? Because you're ideating right now. You coming up with talking points, but is there a leave behind? Is there something for me? I'm reaching out to you. I go to your website. Boom. I have that discovery call with you. We exchange credit cards and all that stuff, and you start going to work. Do I have something tangible I can put on my desk and read at night, or I don't know where I'm going with this, but I'm wondering because my thought is if you don't leave something with the person that you're coaching, engaging with, the times that they're not with you, they don't do the work. So if you leave them some homework, if you leave them how to write copy that sells, if you leave them the Hormozy, if you leave them something, there's that call to action staring them in the face. Is there something that you provide that's physically tangible to your prospects as you build out these processes and these frameworks?
So I have two sides to my business. I have the digital agency, and that's where we build websites, marketing funnels. Um, we build the digital stuff for them, right? Go high level accounts, workflows, all the stuff. So those type of clients leave with what they asked for. We discussed we would build for them. The consultant clients, we work with them to build their consulting or coaching business. So they leave with the assets they need for their business. So for that, what that would look like is um, they would create, if they don't already have a signature program, we would help them create a signature program.
Hmm.
So, for example, for me, the seven figure path is my signature program, right? And I have all the whole outline of what that looks like and the deliverables and what you're going to get, right? So if they don't have that, we help them create that. If they do have it, we look at it and we see where we can improve it and make it better. And then what we do is we do what we do best and we show them how to market it.
That was another softball, brother. I threw that one and you hit that one out the park. Matter of fact, Mark Scott jumped on. Mark Scott Senior, ladies and gentlemen, jumped on from Facebook and said that was outstanding.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
there you go. See, we setting them up, man. We giving flowers out here today on this Juneteenth. So that was real dope. That was real dope. Let's do this. Let's answer a couple of questions here, and then I'll just chime in and ad lib like I typically do, right? You know, like
Awesome.
but there was a question about um, what are you using for? Was it photo or was it video generation? Someone was
I think it was
asking
images.
images. Okay, because we VO3 is out there. Well, that's on the video side. But are you using anything? Do you see a need to create AI generated photos? I know, again, you've got your Technology Tuesday show for maybe for your thumbnails or something like that. What's in your toolkit for some of that stuff?
I wouldn't be the one. I use a template from Canva, and it's something I've been meaning to really get into and start to
Okay, so we giving you some
improve
homework too.
on.
Now we giving you
Yeah.
homework
I
to
just
up that thumbnail game. Yeah.
yeah, I gotta really update the thumbnail. Now I'll tell you, I'm really connected with a lot of people. So he was asking me would I miss out, and it's like yeah, but I know who to go to. So one of my guys is really deep down that path, and I can just pick up the phone and call him. And the last time he was like, "Yo," he was so excited. He was like, "Yo, I created this thing." He said, I can take any thumbnail on YouTube and make it my own." And he showed me what he did. I was blown away. He was like, so then I took his idea, what he gave me, and then I just went another way with it. So it's like you can take a thumbnail, right? And now you can be like, hey, remove the person out of that thumbnail and add
Yeah.
me, right? And and then take the words and change it to this. And now you have right? And so then I took it another level because I had somebody who we were doing their website and they have a massive YouTube channel and they're always in their studio. So I took a screenshot of their studio, I threw it in Chat GPT, and I was like, remove the person from the thing. So now we had a background image of his studio
Mm.
so that we could use on his website. So there's, I'm not the most skilled at it, but I'm skilled enough to when I know what I want, I'm skilled enough to get what I want.
I like that. I know
Yeah, because
I'm skilled
in
enough
the
to get what I want. That's
in the
dope.
past you had to know certain prompts, but now you could just throw the image in there, like just take and just Chat GPT, throw the image in there and say, hey, remove the person, and it'll take the person out, or remove the background and it'll leave the person if it's you in there, and you can put another background image. So it's interesting because the skills I learned to build websites and images for websites are the same skill set, right? It's like layers, and I
Yeah.
teach it like this. Did you want me to hold?
No, I'm gonna say that right there because those are transferable, right? Again, because we all
Yeah.
that coding that we all that old school HTML, right? Having that mindset is transferable. Go ahead, man. Let's go down that path
So
some more.
when it comes to images, it's like I want you to think about a stack of pancakes. I want you to think of three stack of pancakes, and I want you to view it looking down. And if you in your mind, if you look down, you can imagine what this stack of pancakes look like, right? And so now, when it comes to these layers, right? Each pancake is a layer. That bottom layer is the background, and the two top layers are other things, right? So it's typically you have your background. That bottom pancake is the background. It could be a color, it could be an image, it could be a video. And on top, you typically have an image of a person, and typically you have some text, the top one. And if you could see through those and only see the things, that's how graphics are created. They're made on layers. And so now with AI, it's so smart. You can take an image, you can throw it in AI, and you can say, remove, this layer, remove the person, remove the text, or change the text to a different font, and it'll just do it for you. It's you don't even have to, but you have to understand what you're asking and what you
That piece
want.
right there. That piece right there. So don't get lazy. So there's the fall back to what we talked about a couple of weeks ago, right? Don't just arbitrarily use AI and then get lazy in terms of how you iterate and how you operationalize that. So that part right there was dope. Appreciate you for saying. I was waiting for that piece right there. Don't just take what you get, and don't make it your own and think things of that. Tall boys in the building. Come see, she talking about I hate HTML. Come on now, see. Erica, don't do that. That's how that's like a lot of us cut our teeth on HTML, like that kind of thing. Canva templates are dope. Yeah, I stepped away from Canva myself just because I'm stubborn and I'm hard headed because everyone uses Canva, so I wanted to get away and learn something different. So I've become deep in the Adobe ecosystem.
Yeah.
I'm a Adobe Effects. I'm Adobe. I use a lot of Adobe, and actually, shouts out to Adobe. I got a call with them tomorrow, so because I'm gonna help them with a new project that's coming, product and project that's coming out. So I'm working kind of real close with them. Um, there's another platform that I use for some of that ideation and iteration called Simplified. And again, I'm making it harder on myself because again, so many people use Canva, and I don't want to just be in that same wheelhouse. It may make sense to some, it may not make sense to others, but to me, I want to be like Chris Stone. So I want to be different. I don't want to go down the same. I don't want to be the lemming. Not saying that y'all listen. I'm not talking madness about folks, but just saying I choose to learn new products just so I can say that I can talk about those new products.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes it burns me,
I saw.
sometimes it doesn't. But I just wanted to put that out there as well, since we were talking about that.
Yeah, man, you have to decide at what level you want to play, right? And Adobe, if you want to go down that route, it's it has somewhat of an extensive learning curve, right?
Yeah,
And Canva and things don't. It has a much smaller learning curve. You have to just figure out where you want to play.
yeah,
I saw
and that
one
is fine.
question.
Yeah, which one? Yeah.
I saw one question that it said about the prompt to remove the background. So I just uploaded, and this is in ChatGPT. I just threw an image in there and I asked it to remove the background from the photo. It's not that was the prompt. Here's an image, remove the background from the photo, and see what it does.
Yeah, a lot of them will do that, right? Again, I mean,
Yeah.
Adobe does that, Simplify does that, Canva does that. There's another tool, again, if we're talking LTD, so something like Ataja.ai will remove background. So many of them are getting up to that level, that standard level, that if you don't offer this, if you don't offer these table stakes, then folks really aren't going to rock with you. So there's a lot of tools that at least do those minimal things. But then as you start growing in your skill set, um, then you start wanting to evolve. Then you start wanting to do some things differently. Shouts out to Mr. Stone here online. He got me. I'm deep into Descript. Listen, if Descript, if they ever go public, I'm buying stock. I'm deep in that platform. Sometimes it's a little glitchy, but they know that they know they need to fix some things. But it's also I'm running some beta components of their platform. But Descript is the truth, and I've been using that right there. Is it Project Violet, Tallboy? I cannot confirm nor deny, and you can name all kind of names. I will not. I'm not gonna mess up this Adobe money. So you can say whatever you want to, but when I had this call with them tomorrow at 3 o'clock, I'm not. I'm not looking at my calendar. I'm not gonna mess up this Adobe money. So you can say whatever you want to say, brother, but I'm not gonna mess that up. I have AI agents that know HTML. I don't need to know it. There we go again, right? They're learning, they're iterating, they're getting better. Some of those skills that we had in the past, we don't need to know them necessarily, but we need to know what's today and what's tomorrow. So what's short term and midterm.
You got to understand, like sometimes, for example, like the things you learn is not usually always about that specific thing. So, for
Yeah,
example, like if you go to the gym and you do bench press and you can bench press, 200 pounds, you're never going to be put in a situation where you have to push up that exact 200 pounds right at a specific moment. That's not how it works, right? You're
yeah,
building it up for something else. So something like the skills we use in HTML and the skills we use in basic graphics still apply because most things are still built on layers. Video, there's a bottom layer, there's a thing that can go on top of it, there's an audio layer. So it's all layers, right? So the skill set you learn most of the time transfer over, you can still use part of it in other things. So it's all about another skill set that I didn't think I would use, but I'm so thankful that I did learn. In high school, I learned how to type, and you know, before the mobile phones came out on this computer, you being able to type gave you a much advantage over those who had, who couldn't type. So for those of us who still work on desktops and stuff, typing is just one of them skills that you don't have to have, but it just makes things faster. So I'm thankful that I paid attention back in
Yeah.
typing class. I hated that class, but it's
Listen, I'm
it's worth
still I'm still around 70 words a minute. Come on.
T
But
space.
yeah, I'm a go ahead and say that. I'm proud of my 70 words a minute. There's a couple of errors, but hey,
But
on
it's
average,
done. Yeah.
I can still get it done. I know my keyboard hand placement. Uh, all right. Tell them about the developments in character animator and growth with that one. Tell them about that's Microsoft. What's the name of the platform that Microsoft has? Because Starboy's talking about he's got an avatar that's actually an animation piece, right? So when and
Is
where
it
does that fit in for people's use cases? One in particular that I'm using a tool called Instadoodle. So in my industry, in the enterprise technology world, I do a lot of whiteboarding sessions, right? Breaking down complex terms and aspects into not layman's terms, but more into just conversational pieces. So I'll draw on the whiteboard complex algorithms, context, complex information. And there's a tool, like I said, that I use called Instadoodle that actually does that online as well. So I feed it the information and it'll actually draw it out on the screen. So a lot of folks are more visual as opposed to just wanting to see two dudes sitting here in front of a camera talking. If I can bring up a screen and actually have something that draws some graphics. So that right there is dope. Yeah, that's right there.
nice?
Davidson in the building. Go back. Go back.
They
Yeah.
they shouting out their typing teachers back in.
There they go. See, they lying. We should do a test, right? Whoever can type the most. I don't know. Maybe you'll give them 5% off of the course or something. I'll give them 10% off of some merch or something. I don't know. Trying to bring some competition into this game. You brought up a screenshot. Do you want to put that on as we bring this plane in, man?
Yeah, because someone asked how did they get in touch with me, so I wanted to
Yeah.
share just a couple ways that they could do that. So you can reach me at one of my sites is mytekjedi.com, mytekjedi.com, and you can come here. You can hear from quite a few other people who have experienced me helping them with their tech, or you could also reach me at my um, personal website at askgregrussell.com. So it's mytekjedi.com or askgregrussell.com, and you can get in touch with me.
That's going to be in the description, folks. And John, yes, I will put it in. He got on me last couple of weeks ago. I always say I'm gonna put the links in the description, and I forgot. So the community is keeping me honest on this right here. But those links will definitely be in the description in about 20 minutes when we get offline. Listen, man, that's what's up. I think we no, I not think I know we talked about what needed to be talked about. Again, from a concept of how are you leveraging AI in your workflow for your business, and even from a personal perspective, knowing when to use it, when not to, knowing when to and when not to accept the output, knowing how to use it as a framework and not as that end result, knowing when to ad lib, knowing when to add your own sauce to it, that kind of thing, because that helps differentiate. Because we can tell when something is comes straight out of Claude, it comes straight out of ChatGPT, and then you try to post it or you try to use that out there. We got that extra spidey. A lot of us have that extra spidey sense where it's like, Greg, that's not how he talks. He don't talk like that, and he don't use all them rocket emojis in his conversation. So some things that right there, just make sure you take the time as you put something out there to your network, to your community, as you're trying to build relationships, that it's authentic and it's done with intention. Mr. Russ, we good. We good. Anything you wanted to wrap up with? I think we got all the questions answered. Folks were just talking about their typing skills. Erica said 35. My typing speed got up to 35 words per minute. That's respectable numbers right there. Don't sleep on 35. That's all you need sometimes. That's all you need.
You got use what you got, man. I want to thank you again for allowing me to come hang out with you and everybody. And I love to give. I'm a teacher at heart, and so listen. If you guys have any questions or concern, please don't hesitate to reach out. I have a big heart and would love to share.
What he said. Folks, listen, if you found value in this, let me know. If you did not find value in this, still let me know, because we are continuing to evolve, continuing to iterate. We are on a great path because we got some great co-hosts, and we're bringing this heat every week on Thursday, 4 p.m. Pacific time. Subscribe, obviously, to my channel. We'll be humbled by that. Subscribe to Greg's channels as well. Heck, subscribe to all the co-host channels, because they are leaders of industry. We got a couple of folks that are in the chat right now that are going to be on with us next week as well. So we trying to bring it, y'all. Y'all be good to yourself. We out.